My name is Antonio. I've been a doorman here in Manhattan for over 40 years. In all that time I've seen everything: weddings, births, deaths, joys and sorrows. But never, in all these years, did I see a betrayal as cruel as the one I witnessed between a mother and her only son. This is the story of Mrs. Marisa, a 68-year-old woman who dedicated her entire life to her son, and about how he repaid her with the greatest humiliation a mother can suffer. I met Mrs. Marisa when she moved into the building about 20 years ago. She was recently widowed. Her husband had died in a car accident. She had an only son, Rodrigo, who at the time must have been in his early 20s. She was a retired teacher, an elegant, educated woman, always with a smile on her face despite the pain of loss. Her apartment, 703, was simple but cozy. She also had another property, a smaller apartment she rented out to supplement her income. Rodrigo visited his mother regularly. He was an engineer, successful, always in business attire, driving imported cars. He seemed to be a good son. He brought groceries for his mother, spent Sundays with her, called during the week. Mrs. Marisa spoke of him with that mother's pride, her eyes shining. "My son is my life, Antonio. He's all I have in this world. He's my treasure." About 5 years ago, Rodrigo started dating Camila. She was an architect, beautiful, elegant, always very well dressed. Blonde hair, perfect nails, designer bags. She came to visit Mrs. Marisa with Rodrigo, but I noticed something strange. She was polite, but cold. She smiled with her mouth, but her eyes remained empty. She looked at Mrs. Marisa's apartment with an expression I couldn't decipher. It wasn't affection, it was assessment. Mrs. Marisa adored Camila. "Finally, my son is going to get married, Antonio. I'm going to have grandchildren. I'm going to have a daughter." She treated Camila as if she were family. She made special lunches, bought gifts, called to see how she was. And she started talking about the apartment she had rented out. "When you get married, I'm going to give that apartment as a gift. You'll need to start your life. It's my contribution to my son's happiness." The apartment she was going to give was worth a fortune. It was in an upscale neighborhood, 2 bedrooms, renovated, furnished. It must have been worth $500,000, maybe more. It was practically all the wealth Mrs. Marisa had besides the apartment where she lived. But she didn't think twice. It was for her son, for his future. Rodrigo and Camila thanked her, smiled, said it was too generous. But I saw something in their eyes that bothered me. It wasn't gratitude. It was calculated expectation. The engagement was announced at a dinner here in the building. Mrs. Marisa made sure to prepare everything, called some neighbors, was radiant. "I'm finally going to see my son get married. I'm going to be able to wear that dress I bought. I'm going to cry with emotion watching him at the altar." She had already started planning. She wanted to help with everything, participate in every detail, be part of this moment she had dreamed of her entire life. But as the months passed, something strange began to happen. Rodrigo and Camila became evasive about the wedding date. "We haven't decided yet, Mum. We're looking into it. It's complicated, you know how it is." Mrs. Marisa tried to help, offered contacts, suggestions, wanted to participate, but they always changed the subject. "Leave it to us, Mum. We'll handle it. You don't need to worry." She started getting anxious. "Antonio, I think they don't want me to participate in the wedding. Is it because I'm old? Will I embarrass them?" I tried to calm her down. "Of course not, Mrs. Marisa. They must just be busy with work." But deep down, I also found it strange. Then came that Tuesday that changed everything. It was early morning. I was collecting trash from the bins on each floor, as I did every Tuesday and Friday. I got to the 7th floor, opened the hallway bin, and there, on top of everything, was a thick, cream-colored envelope, elegant. I picked it up without thinking. It was a wedding invitation. Expensive textured paper, embossed gold letters. I opened it to see if it had fallen there by mistake, if someone had lost it. When I read it, my blood froze. Rodrigo Almeida and Camila Ferreira have the honor of inviting you to their wedding ceremony, Saturday, June 15th at 5 p.m., Our Lady of Glory Church, reception at the Plaza Hotel. The wedding was in 4 days, and the invitation was in the trash. I looked at the envelope more closely. It had a name written by hand, Aunt Marcia. It wasn't for Mrs. Marisa, it was for an aunt. I stood there in the hallway, holding that invitation, trying to understand. Why was the aunt's invitation in the 7th floor trash? Why hadn't Mrs. Marisa mentioned anything about the wedding being in 4 days? Then I realized apartment 703 was Mrs. Marisa's, but in 702 lived Rodrigo's cousin, Andre. He must have thrown his invitation in the hallway trash by mistake. Or maybe it wasn't even a mistake. Maybe he didn't want to go, but what destroyed me was realizing what this meant. Rodrigo was getting married in 4 days, at a 5-star hotel. He had invited the whole family, uncles, cousins, but he hadn't invited his own mother, or worse, he hadn't even told her. I kept the invitation in my pocket, finished my mechanical work, but my head was exploding. Should I tell Mrs. Marisa? Would it be my place to do that? What if I was wrong? What if she knew and hadn't told me? I spent the whole day tormented, the invitation burning in my pocket like a coal. At the end of the afternoon, Mrs. Marisa came down to pick up a package. She was cheerful. Antonio, Rodrigo said he's coming over on Saturday. It's been a while since he came on the weekend. I'm going to make that stroganoff he loves. My heart broke. Saturday, the wedding day. He was going to leave her making stroganoff while he got married at the Plaza Hotel. I couldn't take it. Mrs. Marisa, can I talk to you about something? She noticed my serious tone. Of course, Antonio. What happened? I went up with her to her apartment. We sat in the living room. I took the invitation from my pocket, my hands shaking. I found this today in the 7th floor trash. I think Andre threw it away by mistake. You need to see this. She took the invitation, read it. The color drained from her face gradually. Her hands started to tremble. She read it once, twice, 3 times as if the words would change. Saturday, she whispered. It's Saturday, in 4 days, the Plaza Hotel. He didn't invite me. He didn't even tell me. The tears started falling silently. They weren't tears of crying. They were tears of someone being torn apart inside. I gave him everything, Antonio. I raised him alone after his father died. I worked 2 jobs to pay for his college. I gave up everything. And he's getting married without even telling me. She covered her face with her hands, her body shaking. I stayed there with her, not knowing what to say, feeling helpless. After a while, she wiped her face, took a deep breath. Why, Antonio? Why would he do this? Do I embarrass him? Am I too poor for his fancy wedding? Am I not elegant like Camila's family? The pain in her voice was unbearable. I tried calling Rodrigo in front of her. He didn't answer. I sent a message. Nothing. Camila didn't respond either. They simply disappeared, as if Mrs. Marisa didn't exist. As if she were a ghost they could ignore until they got what they wanted. The apartment. That's all that mattered to them. Saturday came. Mrs. Marisa spent the whole day in the apartment in her robe, not eating, not going out. I went up several times, brought tea, tried to talk. She just sat on the sofa, staring at the wall, holding the invitation I had found. At 5 in the afternoon, ceremony time, she was at the window, looking at the street, as if she expected her son to change his mind and come get her. Sunday morning, I woke up to my phone exploding. Messages, notifications, alerts. I opened Instagram, and there it was. Rodrigo and Camila had posted hundreds of photos from the wedding. The ceremony in the church, beautiful, full of white flowers. The reception at the hotel, luxurious, with crystal chandeliers. The newlyweds, smiling, radiant. The whole family present, uncles, cousins, friends. Everyone was there, everyone except one person, the groom's mother. In the comments, people were asking, "Where's your mom? Didn't your mom come?" And Camila had responded. She couldn't attend for personal reasons, but blessed us from her heart. Personal reasons. She had lied. She had said Mrs. Marisa knew and had chosen not to go, as if it were her fault. I ran up to Mrs. Marisa's apartment. I rang the bell several times. She took a while to open. When she opened, I saw she'd spent the night awake, eyes swollen from crying so much. But there was something different about her. It wasn't just pain anymore. It was something colder, harder, anger. Not the hot anger that explodes, the cold anger that plans. I saw it, Antonio. I saw all the photos. I saw him smiling, happy, surrounded by people. I saw the whole family. I saw that he lied to everyone, said I couldn't go. He erased me from his life as if I'd never existed, as if I hadn't given everything for him. Her voice was different, calm, controlled, lethal. "What are you going to do?" I asked. She looked at me with those grey eyes I'd known for 20 years, but now there was something new in them, determination. "I'm going to do what I should have done a long time ago, Antonio. I'm going to choose myself. I'm going to choose my dignity. I'm going to choose my self-respect. Because I deserve more than being discarded like trash." Monday morning, a man in a suit arrived at the building. Dr. Silvera, lawyer. He went up to Mrs. Marisa's apartment, stayed there almost 2 hours. When he came down, she was with him, carrying a folder full of documents. "Antonio, I'm going to take care of some things. I'll be back later." Her face was serene, almost at peace. Rodrigo and Camila came back from their honeymoon 2 weeks later. They came straight to the building, smiling, tanned, full of suitcases. They went up to 703. I heard the conversation from the hallway. Rodrigo rang the bell, cheerful. "Mom, we're back. We brought gifts." Mrs. Marisa opened the door. She didn't hug him, didn't smile. She just stood there looking at him. "Hi, Mom, how are you? We brought—" She raised her hand, interrupting him. "Come in. We need to talk." They came in, finding the cold atmosphere strange. They sat on the sofa. Mrs. Marisa remained standing, arms crossed. "Rodrigo, you got married." He turned pale. Camila held his hand. "Mom, I was going to tell you." She shook her head. "You don't need to lie anymore. I saw the photos. I saw that you invited everyone except me, that you told others I couldn't attend, that you erased me from the most important day of your life. Mom, it wasn't like that. Camila thought it was better." Camila stood up, furious. "Don't put this on me. It was your idea. You said your mom would embarrass us, that she didn't have class for that kind of event." The silence that followed was sepulchral. Rodrigo had paled completely. Mrs. Marisa just nodded, as if confirming something she already knew. "I embarrass you. I understand. And the apartment I was going to give as a gift, does that embarrass you too?" Rodrigo stood up quickly. "No, Mom, the apartment is different. We need it. We already made plans." She picked up a folder from the table. She took out some papers. "Well then, my son, I have news. That apartment I was going to give you, I sold it. Last week. I put down a deposit on a smaller, newer apartment just for me, in a condo with a club, pool, gym. I'm moving next month." "What?" Rodrigo shouted. "You can't do that. You promised. That apartment is ours." She faced him with a terrifying calm. "It's not yours. It never was. It was mine. I worked my whole life to buy it, and I chose to do what I want with what's mine, just like you chose to exclude me from your wedding." Camila was furious. "This is absurd. We were already counting on that apartment. We already made debts. We already promised my parents we were going to live there." Mrs. Marisa shrugged. "That's not my problem. You're successful adults. You'll figure it out." Rodrigo fell to his knees, crying. "Mom, please. I made a mistake. I was an idiot. Forgive me. We'll redo it. We'll have another wedding with you present." She shook her head. "I don't want to be present in your life, Rodrigo. You made that very clear. You wanted my money. You didn't want me. So you won't have either. You can't do this. You're my mother. Mothers don't do this to their children," he shouted. She leaned in, looking deep into his eyes. And do children do to mothers what you did to me? Exclude, lie, humiliate. You taught me that family is disposable when convenient. I'm just following your example. They left the apartment screaming, threatening, crying. Mrs. Marisa closed the door, leaned against it, took a deep breath. I was in the hallway, had heard everything. Are you okay? She looked at me, and for the first time in weeks, I saw a real smile. I'm fine, Antonio. For the first time in a long time, I'm fine. Mrs. Marisa moved a month later. The new apartment was beautiful, modern, full of light. She started taking painting classes, dance classes, traveling with friends. She posted happy photos on social media. A lifetime dedicated to an ungrateful son had ended, and a new life dedicated to herself had begun. Rodrigo and Camila tried to contact her a few times, but she blocked, ignored, moved on. I heard they had to sell the imported car to pay the debts they made counting on the apartment. That their marriage started crumbling under financial pressure and guilt. That Camila's family, who had been so welcoming when they thought they'd have an apartment as a gift, was disappointed and distant. This story taught me something I'll never forget. Love is not infinite sacrifice. It's not letting yourself be humiliated, used, discarded. True love is reciprocal. It's respect. It's presence. And when someone treats you like you're worth nothing, the most loving thing you can do for yourself is believe them and walk away. Mrs. Marisa didn't destroy her son out of revenge. She freed herself. She chose her dignity. And in doing so, she taught him the most painful and necessary lesson of his life, that you can't use the people who love you and expect them to stay there, waiting, bleeding, smiling, that all love has a limit. And when you cross that limit, there's no money, apartment, or apology that brings back what you lost. Respect those who love you, because you only realize their value when you lose them.